They say I need a niche. Okay, so this is my niche. I'm Jessie, that blue collar broad, and I have a niche. I have a lot of knowledge about the glass and glazing trade, and that's why I want to tell you why you should join a trade. So listen up. So you want to know the cool thing about the glazing trade? Like one of the coolest things? To get started in the glazing trade, you don't need anything more than a painter does. Right? You need a caulking gun and you need putty knives. That's really it to get started as a caulker. You don't need any special license like an electrician does to get started off in this trade. So go ahead, walk into the shop, walk into the union, non-union or union shop or the school, and get started. But again, I'm gonna be here to just teach you some vocabulary, give you some free tips so then you can hold on to an educated conversation taking that next step. Okay, let's take that next step. Because I know that you have talents and they're not being shown as your strengths. And that's what's holding you back. Do you know the difference between talents versus strengths? Let me explain something. When I was using my drafting talent in the design architectural industry, I wasn't using them to my full capabilities. And I didn't like what I was actually drafting until I learned the glazing trade. And then I took my drafting skills and moved it over to construction. I took my talents, I moved them over into a different shop, just a different firm, from architects to subcontractors, from blueprints to shop drawings. I took my drafting skills, my talents, and it turned into my strength because I started to enjoy it and it motivated me to do more. And people wanted more of what I was doing. Anytime you're appreciated, you're going to be motivated to do more. So I saw that I wasn't a bad drafter. It wasn't my talent. It's that my talent was being used in the wrong place and not being shown as my strength. It's like using the wrong tool for the job. You can't use a hammer where a screwdriver is. So I digress. Now, the reason why I bring up talents versus strengths, it's such an important lesson that I've learned, and it's because are you recognizing what your talents are? If you don't, get into the trade and find out what your talents are. See where you fit in the team. See if you are a leader or an executor or creative, and by then seeing where you fit in the team, you can use it as your strength. And I guarantee you'll be able to use it in the glazing industry because for the love of this niche, please fill this labor shortage, fill this housing shortage. Everyone needs you. Don't think that your talents are going to go to waste. They need to be strengthened, made into your strengths, somewhere useful to contribute to society. Now, how do you start? A great way to start with glazing is caulking. Caulking is in exterior and interior glazed openings. For the exterior, this is really cool and has the aluminum frame meets the perimeter, which may be brick or a CMU wall or an ACM metal panel. And there is a caulk joint that the glazing subcontractor is responsible for putting in that is between the opening and their frames. They're aluminum frames that hold in the glazing. Now, typically, this is not a job that someone muscular wants to handle. Typically, they're really bad at it and they leave with caulking all over them and silicone everywhere. And typically it's someone who has more of a delicate hand, an artistic mind, and a little that takes pride in installing silicone and caulking. So it's a different type of installer in the field. Now, other than having a nice artistic hand for silicone and caulking, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to show any brands and get in trouble with YouTube. But if you want to grow in this position, an easy way is to start to get your safety certifications. Start with your OSHA 10 that you can get online. And if you're going to walk in with an OSHA 30, you're golden. They will love you for that. And again, you could take this online. I think it's like $300 and will totally be worth the investment. Another thing that will be worth the investment are your tools. Tools, you're going to want to start with a caulking gun for sausages as well as cartridges. What I was just holding up is a cartridge. This is a cartridge. And cartridge is typically for glass to glass and interior and smaller applications. Sausages are used for a larger caulking gun held for exterior silicone installations. And the sealant specifications are actually in Division 7, 07900 actually. So that is a specification book generated by the architects, and it's like the encyclopedia of the job. Division 8 is typically glazing, and it's broken down into storefronts, automatic doors, door hardware, the glass and glazing itself, but sealant, weatherization is in Division 7. And that is just something very smart to say when trying to look up a reference for what you need to install. Then, as a caulker, you're going to be expected on site to caulk from frames to brick and CMU, but you don't need to know all of what needs to go where, because you're going to walk into an office or the glass shop and go up to your project manager, who is going to already place the silicone order, and say, hey, where's the sealant order so I could go put in the caulking? And you're going to ask for the backer rod, tape, alcohol, rags, and the silicone itself. And that right there are so many terms to help you have an educated conversation with your project manager. The project manager is already going to know the manufacturer and the color to be installed. And then if you have any questions on if the caulking isn't adhering right or why it may be bubbling up, you can call the supplier that the PM got the order from, because they do what is called a pull test on site. So the sealant caulking manufacturer, the supplier, is going to give the subcontractor, the glazing subcontractor, a pull report. And this says that they went up to the job site and tested the glazing subcontractor's aluminum frame against the brick or against the painted metal, whatever else it's going up against. And then after a week or so, they go back up to that silicone that they tested and they try and pull it. If it doesn't pull or break, then it's good. And that means that this is an approved silicone for the installation. Sometimes when it fails, it's because there's something else that needs to be added, like a primer painted on to the opening before the caulking and the aluminum go on. And that's because there's some type of chemical reaction that the supplier found out. All this gets handed to the PM. All you have to know being a caulker is just how to install caulking. So get your tools from Amazon. I'll put all the links below. I'll even put links below of where you can get actual caulking, because typically suppliers like CRL, Pecora, or manufacturers like Dowsil, they're only going to sell to people that sell directly to glazing subcontractors and that have business accounts. But there are types where you can get types on Amazon. So just buy one, test it out at home, get yourself a caulking gun and some putty knives, and see if you can do some silicone joints. And the best way, so here's the magic number. The joints that you want are going to be 1/4 inch deep by 3/8 wide, and then go as long as you can. The nicer and longer your line is, the better it is. So here, do you hear me? Like, I just gave you manufacturer names. I gave you CRL, you're gonna have clear silicone by them, it's a 33S. Pecora does interior paintable, so that'll go to wallboard, and that is AC20 latex silicone sealant. Then you have Dowsil, and they have a range of colors for exterior use, which is most commonly used as 795. And I just gave you really valuable information for free, so you can have an educated conversation with your PM or your hiring manager. So please just walk into that glass shop. Did you hear my niche? The reason why caulking is so cool is because with the glass and glazing trade, you can start there and learn glazing to work your way up in the industry, or you can even work your way into other trades. You could be just a caulker for glazing, and then also concrete, move into the concrete trade. That's where expansion joints are on the sidewalk. So there are plenty of other things that need to be caulked. You can help carpenters, you can open up your own side business doing this. So this just helps you get in the door at a glass shop, because I'm just biased of the glazing trade. But if you wanted to start your own company, this does not stop you from even doing that. Think about it. So just join the trade. Again, just join the trade, take it from there. Thank you.